Okay, before we go over the problems that are on your assignment for today, I just want to kind of recap what it meant for polygons to be similar. So polygons are similar. That means that they are the same shape, but just different sizes. So you take one shape and you're either expanding it outward and making it larger, or contracting it and making it smaller. So similar figures are same shape, different sizes. We know their angles are going to be congruent, so the corresponding angles are going to be congruent. The angles that correspond to the angle in the other figure. So we have angle I here. Right? Angle I is going to correspond with U, so we know that those angles are congruent. Right? Angle F here is going to correspond with angle G, so those are congruent. Right? The same measure. H is going to correspond with S, so those are congruent. And then angle S is going to correspond with angle T in the other figure, so those are congruent. So that's the first set. Corresponding angles between the two figures are congruent. And then the other thing is that their sides are proportional. So the ratios that we can make with all the corresponding sides, those should all be equal. The sides are proportional. So if we look at this figure, we have 10 over 16. Okay. Right, and then again, this side would be 10, and this side would be 35. This side would be 16. This side would be 50. Okay. So it's 10 over 16, and then 35 over 50. Right, and then 10 over 16. And 35 over, 35 over 50. Okay, it turns out those are not going to be equal. 10 over 16, that's going to be 5/8, where this is going to be 7/10. Right, so those ratios here are not equal. That tells us the sides are not proportional in this case. So it turns out that these triangles here are not similar. Okay, and then we could try it again for the next one, but we would find again that one, the sides, the ratios of the sides are going to be good, but if you look at the angles, they're not going to be. So, right, the three angles of a triangle add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 90 minus 20, right, we're going to be left with 70. So as we see, P here is not going to match up with X, right? And if we did the other one, 180 minus 90 minus 80, we're going to get 10. So this angle up here, B, is going to be 10. So again, these angles are not going to be equal, so they're not going to be congruent. So this one would also be a no. So these would not be similar, and these would not be similar. Okay. So for the ones that are similar, we would need to have ratios that are all equal and angles that are all congruent. So corresponding angles are congruent, sides are proportional. Okay, so that's kind of what we did for 7.2. And then for this section, we started talking about ways to prove that triangles are similar. And we talked about three different ways. We had angle-angle similarity, where we had to show that two pair of angles were congruent. We had side-side-side similarity, which showed that three pairs of sides were, or three sides were proportional. Right, the ratios of three corresponding sides were equal. Or we had side angle side, where we had two pair of sides where the ratios were equal, and then you had the included angles were congruent. So you didn't need to find that all the angles were congruent and all the sides proportional. For triangles, you had these three shortcuts. If we could figure out just these pieces of information, either two angles, three sides, or two sides and the included angle, we didn't need all the information. Okay. So that brings us to now the problems you're working on. So if you look at your assignment number 1 through 4, it's going to be very similar to these problems here. So I'm going to go through these 4, and that way you can do the 4 on your assignment. Okay. So what we need to do is determine if they are similar, and then if so, we need to write a similarity statement and give the ratio. So here, they're not giving us very much information about the angles. They are giving us the angle J is congruent to angle J. So if we were to draw these triangles separately, and that sometimes that's a good idea. Here's a triangle JKL. So let me draw it out here. So JKL. So this is 3 here, and then JK is 2. And then if we draw out the big one, okay, so draw out the big one in green. That's going to be JMN. Okay. So the length of JM here is going to be 2 plus 4, right? So JK is 2, KM is 4, so the whole length there is going to be 6. And then likewise over here, JL is 3, LN is 6. So JN, the whole thing is going to be 9. 3 plus 6 is going to give us 9. So we see they have angle J in common. So we can say angle J is congruent to angle J. Okay, that's one pair of angles congruent, right? Put a little A next to it for angle. Okay. And then we can set up our ratios. So 2 in the red triangle here is going to correspond with 6 in the green. So 2 over 6. And then 3 in the red is going to correspond with 9 in the green. So 3 over 9. If we reduce those, we can divide the first one by 2 on the top and bottom. That's going to give us a third. And over here, 3 divided by 9, we can divide by 3 on the top and bottom, and that's going to give us a third. So we do find that they are equal. So that's going to be 2 ratios of sides, of corresponding sides. So we're going to have side, angle, side. It's going to tell us that, yes, these triangles are similar. That's side, angle, side. Okay, we need a similarity statement. So again, you can name the first triangle however you want. Doesn't matter the order. So I'm going to call it triangle JKL. Okay, so that's going to be similar to, we got to match them up. So J matches with J, K matches with M, and L matches with N. So again, you can name the first one however you want, but you have to match the second one up. The corresponding angles, the corresponding vertices need to match up. Okay, and then your similarity ratio, we can just say is a third. Right, the red one here, the small one is a third the size of the big one, or you can think of the big one as being 3 times the size of the small one. All right, the next one here, there's no angles. I don't see any way we could match up any angles and say they're congruent. So we have to look at the sides. So again, small would match with small, large with large. So, sometimes it helps to draw out the triangles again. So if you need to do that, we can draw them out. So here we have, what is this, P, R, Q, which is going to be 4, 4, and 6. All right, let's pick a different color. All right, and now we'll do the red one. All right, so this was the green one. All right, so now let's look at the red. So we're going to draw that separately over here. So here's P, here's S, and here's R. And this is 6, 6, and 9. All right, so smallest match with small. So 4 is going to match with 4, 4 with 6. I'm sorry, 4 with 6, 4 with 6, and then 6 with 9. So you would have 4 over 6, 4 over 6, and 6 over 9. Okay, that you reduce those, we're going to get 2/3, 2/3, and 2/3. Right, so your similarity ratio is 2/3. We have 3 ratios. That means we have 3 sets of corresponding sides where the ratios are equal. So we have 3 sides proportional. So that's going to be side, side, side. Right, each ratio represents a side. And now we need a triangle similarity statement. So you can name the first one however you want. So I'm going to name it PQR. P in the first triangle, right? That's going to match up with, you got to kind of rotate it. So P is going to match up with S. Q is going to match up with R, right? It's between the 4 and the 4, so it's got to be between the 6 and the 6. And then R here in this triangle is going to match up with P in the other triangle. So triangle PQR is similar to triangle SRP. Okay, so this one, they're not giving us any information on any of the sides, so we're probably looking for angle. So we know the three angles of a triangle add up to 180, so we can find the missing angles here. So we can do 180 minus 81 minus 52. So what is that, 99? That's going to be 47. Right, and then we can do the other one over here, 180, right, minus 47, minus 52. Right, so that's not 81. So here we have angle A and angle F are congruent. We have angle C is congruent to angle H. And then we have angle B is congruent to angle G. Right, so we're going to say yes by angle, right? We don't know the similarity ratio because we don't know the sides, but then we can do our similarity statement. ABC is similar to triangle FGH. Okay, and so that's the idea for these. You're looking for angle, side, side. If the angles are not congruent or the sides aren't proportional, then you can just say, no, they're not similar. Okay. We'll do a second video for then the other problems.